Tulsi Gabbard going scorched earth on the Democratic Party. The former Hawaii Democratic congresswoman and presidential candidate says she's leaving her party for good and issuing this fiery takedown ahead of the midterms.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism. I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party.
All right, let's go to Jessica Tarlov. So maybe not a complete surprise that she would have decided to leave, but she didn't announce she's becoming a Republican, but she is leaving the Democratic Party. So you're down one.
Down one. We were already down that one, and probably everybody else who's says that they're a Democrat and is supporting her online or tuning in. I think that's a part of a show that she's going to have this new, 30-minute shows. Tulsi Gabbard hasn't been a Democrat for a very long time, and it's not because I'm pissed off that she criticized the 2016 primary process and, upset Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She has been vindictive and spiteful and angry towards Democrats. She's attacked our infrastructure. I thought, certainly in the last primary, in the 2020 primary, that she would have been a lot happier if Donald Trump had ended up winning. She does things that are completely inexplicable. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say that she has any direct ties to Russia, but I don't know how you end up in a position where they refer to you as our girlfriend on Russian state TV.
You can't control that.
Yes, you can. You can control what you say.
How?
You
go to Russia and tell them, please don't say those things?
No, you could do things like not go on television and say that what we're doing here in the U.S. in terms of the free press isn't that different from what's going on in Russia. They throw people, journalists, out windows in Russia. What happens here? Maybe you don't get to ask your question. She went to visit Assad in 2017 without telling the party leadership and came back and said that the people that she met supported him. This is someone guilty of terrible war crimes. Steve Bannon liked her so much that he had to get her a Trump Tower meeting right after he won the election. Why would Steve Bannon take such a shining to Tulsi?
Cheap.
What
you're trying to do, first you do it with Russia, now you do it with Bannon. What you're saying is if somebody else likes you, that's on you. I can't help it. I have some fans that can be kind of strange. That ain't my fault.
Steve Bannon isn't just kind of strange.
Well,
I'm saying if you're a Democratic official and Steve Bannon and Donald Trump think that you're aces and they want to meet with you and maybe consider you for being in the administration, you are doing something wrong.
It's not Joe Biden's fault that Joy Reid likes him. But Joy Reid is a nutcase.
Are you comparing Steve Bannon and Joy Reid?
No, I would say that I feel the same way about Joy Reid that you probably feel about Bannon.
What about the 75 million Americans who don't mind being connected to Donald Trump, who voted for him? Is there something wrong with them?
Some of them, like Steve Bannon.
Oh, cut it out. Oh, come on. That's not
go for the person.
Okay, let's get back to Tulsi.
Let's go back to Tulsi. Okay. Look, this is very interesting. We just spoke about the Democrats' vice president that they chose based on identity politics. A woman who can't get out of her own way to discuss anything when she has the power, she has the ability to get things done in this country and in the world. She is a half-wit compared to other vice presidents. That's number one. You've got Tulsi Gabbard, who put her life on the line for this country, compared to the half-wit that we have as vice president, who can't even address the issue she's supposed to. Let me tell you something. I give her credit for calling out what happened with the Democratic Party, the DNC, when Bernie Sanders was edged out by Hillary Clinton, when she got the questions from what's-her-name, who said that we were criticizing her because she was a good Christian woman. What was her name? Donna Brazile. I mean, let's talk turkey. You want to talk turkey? Let's talk turkey. This woman, Tulsi Gabbard, she is an educated, and she is far from vindictive, spiteful, and angry. You call her those things. I have never seen the woman.
You just called the vice president a half-wit.
She is a half-wit.
No,
look at her comedy shows. Look at your own comedy shows.
I don't own Seth
look,
Meyers.
let me tell you something. Your own party makes fun of her. Your own party runs away from her. I have never seen Tulsi Gabbard raise her voice, and she put her life on the line. So don't you dare
I thank
criticize
her for her service, but because you served, it doesn't mean that you are free of criticism for the rest of your life.
I do want to play this. She was on Joe Rogan's show, and she talked about friendships and politics. Watch here.
Like, if you're a Democrat
Yeah.
and you decide to go on Tucker Carlson, for instance, like, what is that like?
It ranges from people kind of like giving you a cynical look, like whose side are you really on, to people just outright ending that friendship or that professional relationship because they don't want to have anything to do with you.
Have you experienced that?
Over and over.
Oh, and I hate hearing that, Jesse, that politics should never end friendships, ever, but it does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, my mother doesn't speak to me anymore. You want to talk turkey? Do you want to talk turkey?
No, I've had enough turkey.
Turkey leftovers right here.
I don't want to make this personal about Tulsi Gabbard. She has a point about how the Democratic Party is now unrecognizable from what it used to be. They're much more hawkish. They're not the party of the working man. They're the party of college graduates, elite institutions, the upper class. And they don't talk about health care and education and jobs anymore. They talk about January 6th all day. Or they talk about gender and race. And it's annoying. And the bigger point that she's making is that there are a lot of insecure, snobby, cosmopolitan liberals that are dying for acceptance. So they will submit to whatever the woke language of the day is just to feel embraced by the elite institutions. And what they really are, they're useful idiots. They're being used by powerful people to shut down debate. They're being used by powerful people to say, this is what you're allowed to say and this is what you're not allowed to say, so those powerful interests can make their money and do their thing uninterrupted. They don't even realize how useful of idiots they are, but that's what they like because that gives their life meaning. Because without that, it lacks meaning.
Well, Tulsi will be on Tucker Carlson's show tonight. Does anyone have any final comments?
Greg didn't talk.
Yeah, I've just been sitting here.
Well, you kind of talked. I'm sorry. Excuse
Yes,
me.
I did. I was yelling at Jessica.
Yes.
You know what, though? The thing is, what Jessica is illustrating and what other people, I mean, it's an obvious thing. Every opposing party loves it when somebody leaves that party. And the party that loses that person will say, good riddance. That's what you do. It's like Liz Cheney. It's like, go away. That's how I would feel. And then I think liberals would be like, she's a hero. She's a hero. It's almost like the mirror image of this.
Well,
it is.
Liz
Except
Cheney
that Tulsi
is a much more important person.
No,
than Tulsi
I would
Gabbard.
no, the opposite. Liz Cheney is running on bitterness. You want to talk about bitterness?
Yeah.
And her entire life is based on a grudge now about Trump. At least Tulsi. The thing I like about Tulsi is that if she were to give you two opinions, you could not predict a third one. Right? She's the definition of an individual. I disagree with her on probably at least 30%, maybe 40% of the things. But the boxes she ticks aren't the boxes that Kamala ticks. Her boxes are achievements and ideas. That's different than skin color and where she was born. And no, not where she was born, but whatever her background is. So I think it's real. I think that is what makes her so different. I've never seen her angry in my life. No. And just lastly, I think she's going to be Trump's VP. So that's where this is going. But I do think when she said the anti-white racism, she said something that most people can't say, and that takes serious, stones to say that because it is true. I mean, in the Democratic Party, they've made it really clear that you can be racist against white people because they have it coming. And I think that's why everybody's so desperately identifying as something else. Like, no, I'm a white, everybody's finding something else to be. So that's why you come to the Republican Party, you become an independent, because then you could be who you are, and you don't have to pretend.
60% of Americans now say that they are independents. Right. So both parties are in the minority. I apologize. I thought that I had gotten to you.
You know what? It's over between us. It's over. I'm going to outnumbered.
All right, see ya.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.